Good afternoon. Today I'm going to go over Chapter 8, and this is a fairly simple chapter. I'm also going to go over the Chapter 8 reinforcements. I know there's probably 2 or 3 that's already done it, but your grades look pretty good, so I'm sorry it's late, and I'm going to try to do Chapter 9 and your Unit 4 test before next week. So I'll try to get those up. So Chapter 8 is talking about prepositions, and it gives you a list of prepositions on page 192 and 193. So a lot of times prepositions are words that we may not even think they are. For instance, the word opposite is a preposition. The word between is an preposition. If you also look back to Chapter 4, page 71, this is very important because when you're working with prepositions, the object of the preposition is going to be an objective case. So if you look at the top of page 71, that chart across the top, you got subjective, objective, and possessive. So objective case, you're going to be using the nouns or pronouns me, us, you, him, them, her, or it. Okay? So that's very important to remember when you're working with prepositions and prepositional phrases. So if I was talking about between you and I or you and me, it would have to be me because me is an objective case. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So, so if you look at page 193, it talks about the objects of prepositions, and there's either a noun or a pronoun. Again, refer to that chart on page 71. At the bottom, objective case following prepositions, and tells you in that paragraph, objective case pronouns include me, us, you, him, her, it, and them. Okay? If you look at the bottom of page 193, and it's giving you some examples just between you and me. It would not be between you and I, because between is a preposition. So your noun or pronoun that follows your preposition is going to have to be an objective case. Okay? Go over to page 194. Typical problems with prepositions. A lot of people use the word of for have. Gina should have cited her sources in her business report. You shouldn't say Gina should have cited. She should have cited. And I think what happens there is we are using a contraction, so to speak, should have, and that's a contraction for should have, and sometimes we just say should have, and we're saying of, and that's wrong. So should have. Okay. Off for from. Kenneth had to borrow a highlighter pen from Jeff, not off of Jeff. Okay. To for to. T-O versus T-O-O. T-O-O means also or in addition to. Okay? Then it goes into talking about some commonly confused prepositions of when to use which one. For instance, among and between. Among means that you're talking about 3 or more people. Between is between 2 people. Okay? The word beside or besides. Beside means next to. My desk is beside the door. Okay? Besides with an S means in addition to. Except and accept. Okay? You got except with an EX means to exclude. Okay? Okay, leave out. In, into, and into. Okay, the main thing to remember here is when to use the word into as one word. Into. There's three things that it's going to do. Okay? The first thing is going to tell you that it indicates that you enter something, like you enter into a room. Okay? Second thing is going to change form. He's changed into a young man. And the next one is making contact. Okay? So that's the three things that you need to look for when you use one word. Okay? Using like versus as if, you should not use the word like to introduce a clause. A clause is a subject and a predicate or a subject verb. Okay, so don't use the word like to introduce something like that. You use as if to do that. Okay. So very quickly I'm going to go over some questions on the reinforcement for this week. The first one here, just talking about what I've just gone over, would I use could have or could have? Because remember, you are thinking of a contraction, could have. So it's really could have. So when you see could have, you know automatically that's incorrect. Could have. Know the difference between to and to? If I have a preposition that says everyone seems to have a LinkedIn account but I or me. But is a preposition, so the object of that preposition is going to have to be an objective case, so it would not be I, that's subjective case. Me is objective case, so it would be but me. Again, difference between to and to. Many believe that corporate annual reports are too cryptic to understand. Are too cryptic to understand. To, T-O-O. Here's another one. Off of or from. Again, we don't say off of or should of or could of. So between off of and from is what you need to use. Will invitations be sent to Sharif and her or she? The preposition in this sentence is to, Sharif, and her or she. She is subjective case. If you go back and look at page 71, objective case would be her, and that would be your answer. Here's another TO versus TOO. Government has to consider the effects of a tax increase. That would be TO. Would have versus would of. We do not use would of. There's no such thing. So again, would have is going to be your answer. Two and two again. Everyone in the office except is your preposition. Her or she uses an iPad. Her would be the answer because it's an objective case form. She, again, is a subjective case. Next question. Would have or would of? It should be simple by now. From or off of? Should be simple. TAO or TO? Our manager, together with Tanya and he or him, helped to close the sale. Okay, I'm going to read it again. The preposition here is with. Our manager, together with Tanya and he or him helped to close the sale. Again, you'll have to go back and look at that chart on page 71. Objective case, is it he or him? Off of versus from. We know again there, that's going to be simple to do. The next one here is, you can always rely on co-workers like Arthur and her or she. Like is your preposition, so it has to be objective case, either her or she. And that's kind of everything. This one is using the word into, right here. Voice control, which allows you to send text messages and search the web using just your voice, is making its way into corporate offices. So it's making its way into corporate offices. Okay. Who, besides or beside you, uses Siri on an iPhone? Would it be besides with an S or beside without an S? Remember, besides with an S means in addition to. The next sentence here, would you use among or between? Overhead expenses will be divided equally among or between the 6 departments. So remember, among is 3 or more. So that would be your answer. Inside of or inside? That should be simple. We do not use inside of, should of, could of. We do not use those. Okay, as if versus like. It looks like, or as if, China will continue to block sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember that you should not use the word like to represent or introduce a clause. A clause is a subject and a verb. So China will continue to block sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. It's a complete sentence. It's a subject and a verb. So we're not going to use the word like. We'll use as if. Just because it says looks doesn't mean we should say like. It looks as if. Okay? Know the difference between accept and accept. With his increased salary and new title, Tony feels like a king, as a king. Between or among. Remember, between is talking about 2 people. Among is 3 or more. Into, when would you use that? Beside or besides. Accept and accepts. Besides, beside, like, as if. She met up with her new boss this morning, or she met with her new boss this morning. It should be the latter. She met with her new boss this morning. She met up with her boss this morning. It's kind of like a slang. It's kind of like saying should have, could have. You don't want to use that. The last one, is talking about the preposition opposite. Her political views are opposite mine or opposite from mine. I know the second one sounds better, but you've got 2 prepositions there. Opposite from is 2 prepositions back to back. So it would only be opposite mine. Okay? So that's your chapter 8. I'm going to work on chapter 9 for you and get that done. And if you have any questions, please always email me. Always allow your time, enough time to get your assignment done so you don't get locked out at the last minute. And I hope you have a wonderful day.